Good morning, everyone. How are you all? I hope you are safe at your place. This is your mathematics class of grade 8, chapter 8, comparing quantities, lecture number 6. Let us see today's key points. First of all, we will revise the previous concepts. Then we will study the concept of compound interest in detail with examples. Let us recapitulate. We have studied about principal. So what do you mean by principal? Principal is the money which has been borrowed, lent or invested is called sum or principal. So the other name of principal is sum. And what do you mean by sum or principal? Money which has been borrowed, lent or invested is called principal. Next comes the interest. What do you mean by interest? We have studied about simple interest and compound interest. So let us see what is this interest. Additional money paid by the borrower to the money lender in lieu of the money used is called interest. So what is this interest? The additional money which is being paid by the borrower to the money lender in lieu of the money used is called interest. So principal is money which has been borrowed, lent or invested is called sum or principal. Interest is the additional money paid by the borrower to the money lender in lieu of the money used. That is your interest. Then comes the amount. What is this amount? The total money paid by the borrower to the money lender. This is basically the total money paid by the borrower to the money lender is called amount. So what is this amount? The total money paid by the borrower to the money lender is called amount. Now amount is given by this formula, that is principal plus interest. Interest is the additional money paid by the borrower. Principal is the money which is being borrowed, lent or invested. And the total of these two will give you the amount. So the amount is the total money paid by the borrower to the money lender is called amount. Now next comes the rate. What do you mean by rate? It is the interest paid on a specified amount for specified period. It is the interest paid on a specified amount for specified period. So what do you mean by rate? The interest which is being paid on specified amount for specified period is your rate. Then next comes the time. What is this time? It is the time, it is quite obvious, the time for which the money is being borrowed. The time for which money is being borrowed is known as time. And this is the way you will define time. Then coming to simple interest. What is this simple interest? Simple interest, as the name indicates, interest we have studied. What is so simple about this interest? Let us see now. It is the interest calculated on the original money, that is principal, at given rate of interest for any given time. It is basically the interest calculated on the original money, that is the principal, at given rate of interest for any given time. And simple interest is given by this formula. The interest which is being paid or calculated on the original money or the principal at given rate of interest. Principal, it is being calculated on the principal for given rate of interest for any given time. So this is the formula of simple interest, SI, that is given by P into R into T divided by 100, where P is the principal amount, R is the interest rate and T is the number of years. So this is clear to you, where P is the principal amount, R is the interest rate and T is the number of years. Now what is this compound interest? In the previous lecture, I told you that normally the interest paid or charged is not simple or is never simple. And in practice, in practical scenario, the method according to which banks, post offices, insurance companies and other financial institutions calculate interest is different from the simple interest, and this is the compound interest which are being used by banks, post offices and other financial institutions. So compound interest, the definition of compound interest can be the difference between the final amount and the original principal is called compound interest. What is this compound interest? The difference between the final amount. First of all, you need to calculate the amount, and then the original principal. The difference of these two will give you the final compound interest, which is being calculated or which is being used in the practical scenario by the financial institutions like banks, post offices and other insurance companies. Then compound interest is given by amount. This is your final amount. This should be your final amount and minus original principal as it is mentioned in the definition. And now, what is the difference between SI and CI? This point is very important to note down because this should be very much clear to you that what is the difference between simple interest and compound interest. Let us see. In case of simple interest, as I told you, as the name is simple, so the principal will remain constant for the whole loan period. In case of simple interest, the principal will remain the same for the whole loan period or for a particular duration, whatsoever is the time period mentioned. But in case of compound interest, the principal goes on changing every year. What is that change? I told you in the previous lecture, I am repeating it. The amount of the previous year will be the principal for the next year. This we have done or we have seen with the help of an example also. In this lecture also, I will be taking an example so that it will be more clear to you. So what is the difference between SI and CI? In case of simple interest, the principal remains same for the whole loan period, but in case of compound interest, principal goes on changing every year. And what is that change? The amount of the previous year will be the principal for the next year. Let us see this example. Kapil invests rupees 12,000 for 3 years at 10% per annum compound interest in Bank of Baroda. Calculate. We need to calculate the compound interest for the second year and the compound interest for the third year. So what is the principal here? 12,000 rupees. Time 3 years. Rate of interest per annum, that is 10% per annum, and we need to calculate the compound interest for the second year and third year. Let us see how we will calculate it. And I told you that in case of compound interest, the amount of the previous year will be the principal for the next year. Now let us see, it will be more clear to you with the help of this example. Let us see the solution of this. Rate of interest is given to you as 10% per annum. Rate of interest is given to you as 10% per annum. Principal for the first year is 12,000. Interest for the first year, we know the formula of simple interest, that is P into R into T. Here we have taken 1 year because we are finding the interest for the first year. So it will be P into R into T divided by 100. After calculating it, you will be getting rupees 1200 as the interest for the first year. Now we need to find the amount because this will be the principal for the second year. Now this amount, how will you calculate the amount? Principal plus interest. So this was your original principal, that is 12,000 rupees. This is your interest, that is rupees 1200, and the amount will be 13,200. So the amount at the end of first year is rupees 13,200. And now, as I told you that in compound interest, amount of this first year will be the principal for the second year. So the principal for the second year will be 13,200. But in case of SI, that is simple interest, the principal will remain 12,000 for given number of years. But here in case of CI, in case of compound interest, the amount of the previous year is the principal for the next year. Now interest for this, we need to calculate the interest once again. That is P. P here is now 13,200. 10% is the rate of interest. Again I am taking 1 because I am calculating the interest for the individual years separately. I am not taking altogether time as 3 years. I am taking individual, I am calculating the interest for individual years. So I am taking time as 1. So after calculating, you will be getting rupees 1320. This is the interest for the second year. Now what will be the compound interest? This is obviously the compound interest for the second year. Now the amount at the end of second year. Amount, how will you calculate? Amount is given by the formula of principal plus interest. So the principal was 13,200. Interest we have calculated 1320. So this will be the amount at the end of second year. Now as I need to find the compound interest for the third year, this will be the principal for the third year now, because the amount of the previous year, that is second year, will be the principal for the third year. Like this I have written here. So the principal for the third year will be 14,520. So the interest will be principal P into R into T divided by 100. So it will be 1452. So the compound interest for the third year will be 1452. I hope using this question, with the help of this question, it will be clear to you how to calculate the compound interest for the individual years. And now we have used, or we have calculated the compound interest in a more lengthy way. So I am telling you now the shorter way of finding compound interest. By this formula, you can calculate the compound interest directly. What is this formula? Let us see. Suppose a sum of rupees P is compounded annually at R% per annum for n years. Suppose as I need to deduce the formula. So formula is always deduced in the general way. So I have taken rupees P as the sum or the principal, R% as the rate, and n that is time will be n years. In general I need to find the formula. So I cannot take the specified amount or the specified rate of interest for specified number of years. So I have taken rupees P as the sum, rate is R% per annum, time is n years. So the principal for first year is P. Interest for the first year will be P into R into T, because I am calculating it for 1 year. So time will be 1 into over 100, P into R into 1 over 100. So it will be P R over 100. This is the interest for the first year. And now the amount we know, we need to add it to the principal. So the principal was P. Interest we have calculated P R over 100. Now I have taken P common from this complete expression. If I will be taking P common, then what will be left inside the bracket? It will be 1 plus R over 100. Then principal for the second year, as I told you that in compound interest, amount of the previous year will be the principal for the next year. So it will be P into P bracket 1 plus R over 100. This was the amount of the first year. Now this will be the principal for the second year, as it is the concept of compound interest only. The amount of the previous year will be the principal for the next year. Interest for the second year, this will be P. This is the value of P now, R into T. Time we have taken 1 because we are calculating it for individual years. So it will be P bracket 1 plus R over 100 into rate of interest, that is R, into 1 over 100. This will be the interest for the second year. This like this. So it will be PR. I have written this P and this R all together. So it will be PR over 100 bracket 1 plus R over 100. Now the amount at the end of second year, as I need to add the principal, this is your principal, to the interest, this was your interest from the previous slide we have seen. So amount at the end of second year will be principal plus interest. Now I have taken this, you can see this 1 plus r over 100 is present here also, and it is present here also. So what I have done, I have taken 1 plus r over 100 common. So what will be left inside this? It will be this p, this p I have written bracket this p, plus this pr over 100, this pr over 100. So the formula or amount at the end of second year will be 1 plus r over 100 bracket p plus pr over 100. This will be the amount at the end of second year. Then if I will be taking, I have written this once again 1 plus r over 100. Then if can I take p common? This p is present here also, and here also it is present. So what I have done, I have written p outside, and what will be left? 1 plus r over 100. Then it will be, this factor is present one time, two times. So I have written 1 plus r over 100 raised to the power 2, and this will be p. So the formula or the amount is p bracket 1 plus r over 100 raised to the power 2. Now proceeding in the same manner, the amount at the end of n years. Likewise here I have taken for 2 years. If it will be n years, then this will be the formula. Amount will be principal bracket 1 plus r over 100 raised to the power n. This is the rate percent, this is the principal amount or the sum, and this will be the number of years. So amount will be given by principal bracket 1 plus r over 100 raised to the power n. So CI compound interest will be given by this amount minus original principal. So the formula for finding the amount at the end of n years for principal p and rate of interest r% per annum is, this is the formula which you will be using for in the questions. No need to solve it using the, I have dear children, I have tried to show you the derivation of this formula. You should know how this formula is derived. That is why I told you. Otherwise, while solving the questions, you are supposed to directly put the values of p, r and n only, simply to get the amount. And then to find the compound interest, simply subtract principal from the amount. Take the subtraction of these two or difference of these two, then you will be getting compound interest. So no need to use the derivation in the questions. You are supposed to directly use the formula which I told you, but you should know the derivation I told you, so that you should be aware why we are writing this formula or why we are using this formula, from where this formula has derived. So in the questions, directly use the formula of amount and compound interest. Now conversion period. What is this conversion period? In the previous part, that is, we have talked about compounded annually when it is written that the interest is being compounded annually. You must have noticed in the previous example which I have discussed. So what does it mean? Why have we used that? To answer these questions, let us define this term conversion period. What is this conversion period? The time period after which the interest is added each time to form a new principal. What is this conversion period? The time period after which the interest is added each time to form a new principal is called conversion period. Means after which the time period after which the interest is added to form a new principal, that gives you the conversion period. Or you can define like this: the time from one specified interest to the next period is called conversion period. So what do you mean by conversion period? The time period after which the interest is added each time to form a new principal is called conversion period, or the time from one specified interest to the next period is called conversion period. Now, if this specified period is 1 year, I'm explaining it, please pay attention here. If this specified period is 1 year, that means the interest is compounded annually. Then there is one conversion period in a year. Obviously 1 year is having 12 months. So if the specified period is 1 year, the interest is compounded annually in that case, and then one conversion period is there in a year. What will happen if this period is 6 months? 6 months means the interest is compounded semi-annually. Complete year is called annual. So if the period is 6 months, then it will be semi-annually or half yearly. Then there are two conversion periods in a year. Obviously, after a gap of or after 6 months, then interest will be again calculated and being added to the each time to form a new principal. So 6 months, if the period is 6 months, then the interest is compounded half yearly. We have taken the half of the year, that is half yearly. From the name you can learn or keep in mind that year, half of the year, that is conversion period is 6 months, and there are two conversion periods in this case. Then there are two conversion periods in a year, and half yearly rate will be half of the annual rate. So there must be any effect on the rate in time also. If I am taking the two conversion periods in a year, then rate will be half of the annual rate. This will be more clear to you. I will be explaining in further slides so that you it should be more clear to you. So by the time, you just keep in mind, if the specified period is 1 year, then the interest is compounded annually and there is one conversion period in a year. If this period is 6 months, it means I have taken the half of the year, that is 12 divided by 2, that will give you 6, that is half yearly. Then there are two conversion periods, means 6 months and 6 months, that is total 12 months. So two conversion periods in a year, and half yearly rate will be half of the annual rate. Whatsoever is the rate given to you, you need to take the half of that rate. If this period is 3 months, so the interest is compounded quarterly. You must be knowing, my dear children, that in 1 year, how many quarters are there? 4 quarters are there. So there will be 4 conversion periods in 1 year, and quarterly rate will be 1/4 of the annual rate or half of the yearly rate. It is quite obvious. If this period is 3 months, it means the interest is compounded quarterly. How many quarters are there in 1 year? 4 quarters are there. So 3 months, 1 quarter is the period of 1 quarter. So how many quarters are there? 4 quarters are there. So 4 conversion periods in a year, and quarterly rate will be 1/4 of the annual rate, because there are 4 quarters in a year, 4 conversion periods in a year. So it will be 1/4 of the annual rate or half of the half yearly rate. So if the rate, for example, if the rate of interest per annum is 10% and the interest is compounded semi-annually or half yearly, then rate per conversion period, rate will be half. That will be 5%. Is it clear? So because why we have divided it by 2? Because in a year there are two conversion periods, two halves are there, two half years are there, then it will be 10/2, that will be 5. And interest is compounded quarterly. How many quarters are there in a year? 4 quarters, 4 conversion periods, so it will be divided by 4. Same 10% is being divided by 4, that will give you 2.5%. If it is quarterly, it will be divided by 4. If it is semi-annually or half yearly, it will be divided by 2. Now this we have talked about the rate. There should be some effect on the time period also. So let us see what will be the effect on the time period. If the interest is compounded annually, then there will be no change in the time period. It will remain as it is, whatsoever it is given in the question. If the interest is compounded semi-annually or half yearly, if the interest is compounded semi-annually or half yearly, then this new t, whatsoever you will be taking in the formula, it will be twice of t, which will be given to you in the question. You need to multiply the time given to you in the question to get the new time. If the loan period, for example, if the loan is to be paid in 1.5 years, this is the time period given to you, and the interest is being compounded half yearly, then it will be, first of all, you will be writing 1/2 years will be 3/2 years into 2, because there are, how many halves are there? 2 halves. Rate will be divided by 2, time will be multiplied by 2, so you will be getting 3/2 into 2, that will give you 3. Or children, you can calculate it this way also. If time is equal to 1.5 years, then 1 year is equal to 2 conversion periods. or 2 halves are there in one period, because interest is being compounded semi-annually or half yearly. So in 1 year, 2 conversion periods or 2 halves, and in half year, that is half year, will be having 1 conversion period. So what will be the value of n? So the total conversion periods will be 3. So time will be 3 years. As I told you that in case of semi-annually or half yearly, rate will be divided by 2 and time will be multiplied by 2. It was time is given to you as 3 by 2 years. So 3 by 2 into 2 we have seen in the previous slide also, that will give you 3 years. So time will be 3 years. Now, if interest is compounded quarterly, if it is the case of interest being compounded quarterly, then time will be multiplied by 4 and rate is divided by 4. We have seen in the previous slides. So time, what will be the effect on time? It will be multiplied by 4. As in case of half yearly, we have seen that time will be multiplied by 2, because in 1 year 2 conversion periods are there when the interest is being compounded half yearly, and when it is the case of quarterly, in 1 year the conversion periods are 4, because we have 4 quarters or 4 conversion periods in 1 year. So n will be 4 in this case, conversion period will be 4. So we need to divide time, we need to multiply time by 4. So let us see the formula of amount and compound interest when the interest is being compounded half yearly. So this is the formula of amount and compound interest. So when the interest is compounded half yearly, the interest rate will be half of the annual interest rate and the time period will be doubled. So the formula will be, we have divided here our rate of interest by 2, because we have understood the concept of half yearly. How many conversion periods are there? 2. So rate will be divided by 2 and time will be or multiplied by 2. Here you can write 2t also or 2n also. So what will be the formula of compound interest? It will be amount minus principal. We will be taking this amount minus principal, whatsoever it is given to us in the question. Now where P is the principal amount, R is the rate of interest and N is the number of years. And when the interest is compounded quarterly, so interest rate will be 1 by 4 of the annual interest and the time period will be multiplied by 4. So what we have done, we have multiplied the rate by, divided the rate by 4 and multiplied the time by 4. So compound interest will be amount minus principal. My dear children, in your NCERT book, only the questions related to compounded annually and compounded semi-annually or half-yearly are given to you. But I told you the concept of compounded quarterly also, because you should be aware about when the interest is being compounded quarterly. So where in this formula amount is given by P into 1 plus R over 4 into 100, that is R over 400 into raised to the power 4n, and compound interest is given by amount minus principal, where P is the principal amount, R is the rate of interest and N is the number of years given to you in the question. So the formula for finding the amount at the end of n years for principal P and the rate of interest R% per annum when interest is being compounded annually is given by this formula. When the interest is being compounded annually, you will be directly taking this formula. A is equal to, that is amount is equal to principal bracket 1 plus R over 100 raised to the power n. This will be the formula of the amount, and compound interest CI will be given by this formula, amount minus principal. And when the interest is compounded half yearly, then in that case the formula will be R over 2, rate will be divided by 2, R over 2 and time will be multiplied by 2. Here you can write 2t also or 2n also. CI will be given by amount minus principal. And when interest is being compounded quarterly, then what will be the formula of amount? This will be, rate will be divided by 4, that is R over 400, and time will be multiplied by 4, that will be 4 into n, or n here basically represents the conversion period. You can write 4t also, and compound interest will be given by the formula CI is equal to amount minus principal. So your homework is, you're supposed to complete question number 1, question number 2, question 3 of exercise 8.3 in your homework notebook. My dear children, first of all, you need to make this concept very much clear to you. So then only you will be able to solve the questions properly. So that is why I am giving you only 3 questions of exercise 8.3. Now in this lecture, what we have studied about the concept of compound interest in detail. I told you we have done one question. With the help of that question, the concept of compound interest will be very much clear to you, but that method is a lengthy one, so we have deduced one formula also to find the compound interest directly. So that formula is amount is equal to principal bracket 1 plus r over 100 raised to the power t, and if it is compounded annually, this is the formula, and when it is compounded half yearly, rate will be divided by 2 and time will be multiplied by 2. We have learnt about conversion periods. On the basis of that, we have seen that how rate will be divided by 2 and time will be multiplied by 2. If the interest is compounded quarterly, then we have seen the formula will be changed and there will be effect on rate as well as on time. That rate will be divided by 4 and time will be multiplied by 4. As I told you, in NCERT, in your NCERT book, only the questions related to compounded annually, interest compounded annually and interest being compounded half yearly are given to you, but you should be aware about the concept of interest being compounded quarterly. That is why I have discussed it here. So thank you so much. Stay safe, stay healthy.